Hey guys, this is Kyle Counts with Condition One CrossFit in Sullivan, Missouri. After jumping on the two-brain model, I was able to double my revenue coming out of my on-ramp.
Whoa, this is Run a Profitable Gym. I'm your host, Mike Workington. Hit subscribe right now so you don't miss any more shows just like this. Today, we're going over the prescriptive model. Now, I know it doesn't sound as cool and sexy as Profit Max 3000 or the Surefire sales systems, but Kyle, what did the prescriptive model help you do?
Helped us double revenue, man. Just like that.
Yep, just like that. It doubles revenue or greatly increases revenue for gyms. It also helps increase retention. So if you want to do those things, listen to this show. Now, on the Two Brain blog, Chris Cooper has the exact description of how the prescriptive model works. I'm going to get a link in the show notes for you so you can click it. Here's the short version so we can get this out of the way and let Kyle explain how it works at ground level. Prescriptive model. You meet with a client, you find out about their goals and the obstacles that they're facing. Then you prescribe the best plan to help that client accomplish those goals. You close the sale, meet with the client every 90 days to review progress. You celebrate wins, you adjust the plan as needed, and you keep moving forward. It's simple. That's just a concept. But again, Kyle used it to do what, Kyle?
Double revenue.
Double revenue. So Kyle is going to tell us what happens with that concept at ground level in a gym. So Kyle, let's get the basics in place. When did you start using the prescriptive model and why?
So we went to, the affiliates. CrossFit's this weird model, right? Like everybody loves CrossFit, and Greg Glassman was brilliant when it came to coming up with, a style of workout that makes people want to come in and do all that. But what he wasn't great at was teaching any of us how to run the business side. Like, how do we do that? And I don't think he always was upfront with how he started. One of the things that I learned from my two-brain mentor when I very first started was, hey, the model that CrossFit uses in group classes is not how Greg Glassman started his business. The reason it ended up with that was because Greg Glassman started out with his personal training clients. So just by having a few high-end clients, you give yourself an opportunity to then have those group classes. So with the prescriptive model, when I went to that conference, and it was the very first affiliate summit that they did, and Jeff Juka got up, Jeff talked for like an hour, and I'm sitting there going, where's this been for 8 years? It was, I think, June or July of 21. And by December of the same year, I was more than double what I had been before.
Okay.
So, I mean, the simplicity of it is what makes it go. So,
okay. So you put this thing in and about 2021, and then in the next, we're in 2023 now, saw revenue dramatically change.
Yeah, I would say so. Just to give you the numbers, when I very first started with Jeff, that first month, the month before I started, I was at about 1,900 a month. Mm-hmm. And I like to lean on that it was COVID because it's embarrassing to say that I let my business get that bad. By the end of 2021, I was somewhere around 5,000. And at the end of 2022, the end of 2022, we had our best month ever. We were probably around 10.5.
Okay. So that's like a 5X almost at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a big deal. And that's like life-changing, kind of like business changing stuff. Yeah. So let's tell me, what were you doing before this? Like, what was your intake process?
And see, I think that's the problem. There wasn't one.
Okay.
And that's the issue, right? And I come from a sales background. I don't come from a gym background. My background is I sold insurance, I sold investments, like I did all of those things, right? Okay. So the sales side was never an issue. But what I never did was I didn't ask people why they left. And I think for most of us, we're always afraid it's going to be us. And it very rarely is us. But what I also didn't do was I didn't ask anybody what they wanted when they got here. So
did you just assume they wanted group classes?
You just assume you want to get in shape. Oh, I want to be healthier. Yeah, but if you don't ask specific questions, you don't know what healthier means to them, because what healthy means to me is not what healthy means to somebody else.
That is a big one.
By not asking the questions, I didn't know how to train these people in a way that was going to make them stay. So you had this whole, we would grow, we would shrink. grow, we would shrink, we would grow, we would shrink, and we would never get any sustainable long-term growth. And so by asking the questions, I now had a model to go, okay, this person's here because they want to lose 10 pounds. Well, once they've been here 3 months, now I can have a conversation and say, hey, Mark, are you down any weight? What have we done for that? Have we done our job? We haven't. Okay, well, let's adjust something. And now what happens is that client wants to stay because they feel like you're actually helping them reach their goal.
Okay, so like 2021, before you're working with Jeff, I go to your website. What happens? Do I just email you, or what's there? What do I see?
Email, call, not much.
Whatever, right? So okay,
I mean,
so I got
it's there. It's there because we needed a presence, but it wasn't necessarily. It definitely wasn't driving any revenue, and there was really no rhyme or reason to what we did. It was just, hey, we need a website because that's what you do when you have.
Okay, so I got to figure out how to get into your gym, and then I'm going to just email you or message you somehow,
right.
And I'm going to say like, what do I do? And do you just say, come
what
in?
Do I do? And I'll say, hey, come in. I always give the first class for free. And then we would talk, about, like I would talk about CrossFit. I would give this is the definition of CrossFit. This is how we move. And I love helping people learn to move. So I have a little bit of a different philosophy than a lot of CrossFit coaches, but I'm being able to connect with somebody was the easy part. If I could get you in the gym, I could keep you for at least 2 or 3 months. The problem was I didn't keep a lot of them after that. Because I didn't know what they wanted. I didn't know how to help them. So
yeah, your experience mirrors mine. I did the same thing, come in for a free trial, and I would either lead them through a class, or sometimes I'd do the class with them. So do you want to sign up? They're all sweaty. That was, it worked for a while back in like 2010, 11 kind of thing, but then it didn't work very well after that. People didn't want to figure out how to get into my gym. They had goals beyond getting better at deadlifting or getting better at Fran or whatever. They wanted to lose weight, look better, play with their grandkids, whatever it was. I didn't even know what those goals were because I assumed that they wanted to do fitness in a group setting at high intensity.
Right.
And I never asked
Which
them
is
that
why
stuff.
they called me, right?
Yep, exactly.
Because
And
I
never
loved it,
asked.
so they have to. No, that's not how that works.
We had an almost identical experience. So talk to me about changing that. So you find out about the prescriptive model, and it's step-by-step laid out. We've got all the stuff in our free resources, which you can look at in the show notes, but also we have mentors who teach gym owners how to put this in place. So tell me about that.
And once Jeff and I sat down, so I called him and he told me what the cost was. And listen, I'm the biggest skeptic in the world. I'm a sales guy. My dad was a car salesman. My dad owned a car dealership. I get it. I have been through the sales cycle in my life, but you learn that if you actually just talk to people, you can figure things out. So Jeff's like, hey, I know it's expensive. Let me tell you a couple of small things that you can do. And he told me the story of how Greg Glassman started personal training. And when he got to where he had too many clients, he then went to, well, let me put this person together because they're similar in their goals. They're similar in what they're doing. And then I'll charge each of them a little bit less. And he kept doing that until he didn't have enough time in the day and everything was a group class. But we as CrossFit owners, we don't know that model. So we just know group classes. So that's what we did. Well, so I was like, okay, well, I have this client that I've had her for a really long time. She's always wanted to lose weight, but we've never been able to get it. And she would be here for 6 months and be hard at it. And then I would lose her for a year. And then she would come back. And it was this nonstop back and forth with her. And I sat her down that first day and I was like, listen, I think you need something different. And this is what I think you need. And I said, and even as a salesperson, I was reluctant. I am in a town of 7,000 people. I was reluctant to ask for $50 an hour. I mean, almost like, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, right? Like she's gonna pay me $500 a month. Nobody pays me that much money.
What happened?
And I asked her, and she goes, "Yeah, that's great. I think that'd be great." And I was like,
"Whoa,
that was way easier than I thought it was going to be."
So you told her what you think she needed to do to accomplish 100%. Her goals, right? You gave her 100%. That prescription. That's where the name comes in. And I asked her.
And so here's where the prescription comes in, right? Yeah. Before I did that, I said, hey, you've been coming a long time. I kind of got this new thing. Can I ask you some questions? And that's what I did. There's the no sweat intro form that Two Brain has. I put my logo on it and I printed it off and I asked her the questions. And then when I got to the end and I said, based on what you're telling me, this is what I would recommend. So it's not even like I just figured it out on my own. I asked the questions and she said, yeah, that's great. And I was like, oh, all right. So then I had somebody else call and they were like, hey, my husband, it was a client of mine. Her husband was wanting to lose some weight. And I was like, okay, well, have him come in. Like, I don't do things the same as I used to. Like, have him come in. We need to talk first. And we'll sit down, have a conversation. Then we'll kind of decide where to go from there. Same thing. Ask the questions. These two are still paying me. Now, everybody else that pays me for personal training is paying me $70 an hour. They're not. They're the first two. But Jeff said, hey, get these two people. If you get enough in to pay for me, then call me. It took me 3 days. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's $900 a month. So, all right, I guess I'm gonna call Jeff. So I did. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. So,
okay. So I'm going to unpack a couple of things because there's some really like groundbreaking stuff that people won't necessarily see. So first of all, you were afraid as a sales guy with a sales background, dad owned a car dealership, to ask for $50 an hour in a personal training setting in a small town.
100%.
Yeah. And you did it and immediately got it. And now you're charging 70, right?
100%. And okay. I get it.
Yep.
I get it all the time.
So that's a huge mindset shift. And that's a huge change because there's so many gyms out there that are underpricing their services because they don't.
And it's hard to ask for that. And I'm a guy, listen, I'm a guy that like my biggest sale in the life insurance business was $70,000 a year.
Not 50.
I asked a business to pay me $6,000 a month.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to ask that. I'm like, am I worth that? I know I am now. Like I've seen it. And I think what a lot of these gym owners will find is if they're willing to bet on themselves in that way, what they'll find is that they're able to change the lives of their clients. And that just gives you more confidence to ask for the money. Listen, somebody comes in here, I'm worth $70 an hour. I'm probably worth $150 an hour, to be honest with you.
Because I can change your life.
In a bigger town, I would get it. Because I'm not just going to train you. I'm going to change your whole life.
And so that's the other thing, the prescriptive model, is that you have this conversation. You use this strategy called motivational interviewing. You find out, what does this person want and why? Then as the fitness professional, you obviously, everyone listening is a fitness pro, has these skills to make people fitter. You tell them exactly what they need. So I want to lose weight. Okay. You need to work out with me 3 times a week. You need to do a nutritional habits-based program. And I want to tack on one, personal training session if you're going in a group setting or something like that, whatever it is.
Right.
You give them this prescription and you say, how does that sound? Well, that sounds like the perfect plan to accomplish my goals. You open up your sales binder, which you've already got pre-prepared. TrueBrain has templates for clients, by the way, and you point to the price,
which I still use.
Right? You still use it.
There's no reason to make this stuff up.
It doesn't have to be complicated. It's just black and white. Yeah, put your logo on it and you show them the price. Now, so many people will just say, cool, and let's ride. And away we go. And you set them on your onboarding program. Or if there's some objections there, like, oh, I just really can't afford that. You say, okay, you know what? I understand we have this tier, and you may show them a different tier. You may adjust the prescription a little bit, but whatever you do, you get that thing in place, and it's very easy to do. You can do it as a gym owner. If you're scared of sales, you can teach a person to do it. So you can offload the sales role. It's a very simple process. Here is the big one. And Kyle, I want to focus on this because it's huge. You schedule a goal review session in 90 days. You can do it at slightly different intervals, but 90 is kind of the sweet spot. And at that goal review session, Kyle, you take it. What happens? What do you do? And why is it important?
You ask them where they're at. How do they feel about where they're at? Did we accomplish the goal we set out to when you started? If we haven't, are we on track? Because for my first client, she needs to lose 100 pounds. So we're not going to lose 100 pounds in 90 days. But are we making progress? Yeah, we're down 26 pounds. Cool. 25%. We're on the right track. We're on the right track to get where you want to go. And what it does is you don't know what happens in someone's life. 90 days, yeah, it's a short time period, but if you've ever had something crazy in your life happen, you know that 90 days, everything can change. So when I sit down with them in 90 days, not only am I getting, did we accomplish the goal in the first 90 days? Did the goal change between now and then? And are we on track to continue hitting that goal? What it does is it allows me as the business owner to, instead of the training side is easy for, if anybody's on this call and you have a gym, you know the training side is not where you struggle. You're on this call because you struggle on the back end. If you're constantly talking to people about their goals, you know what they want, they know you care, and they stay. They just keep coming in because you're pushing them toward their goals, and they know you give a shit. I mean,
Yeah. And clients don't always see progress, right? If they've got this huge goal, 100-pound weight loss, maybe she's focused on that. Maybe she wants to weigh whatever is 180 pounds or something like that.
right.
Might be so focused on that goal that she doesn't see the number going down from 280 to 275, 270. And like, it seems silly because you're outside that, but when you're inside that box, your own brain, you often don't see changes happening. So it's really important as a coach to say, this is working. We've taken measurements. We can show you that this is actually you're doing an amazing job. You can celebrate that client, and clients, I've seen it happen, will be like, I had no idea that this was happening.
Yep.
Right.
I can give you an example.
Please.
We got an in-body machine, and I've had a client. She has been coming. She was with me at CrossFit for 4 years, and she came to me 7 months ago, and said, "Hey, I really want something different. Like, I'm retired now. My husband has passed. She's not looking to date, but she just wants to feel better about herself. And she's not big, but she wanted to be in better shape. Now she's struggled the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks because she feels like she hasn't lost weight." And I'm like, when was the last time we did an in-body? And I pulled her chart because I'm not going to have this conversation with her, right? I'm doing this on my own. I'm like, okay, when was the last time Pam and I did an in-body? All right, let me pull her chart. So I pulled her file out and I looked at it and I said, okay, it's been 5 months since we did an in-body. We're getting close to that review. So I'm just going to speed the review up. Instead of waiting another 3 weeks or 4 weeks to do the 90-day review, let's just do it now. And let's hop her on the in-body and let's see what happens. Now the weight loss, she's only down 2 pounds. She lost 16% body fat. Wow. You can't know that unless you've done the scans, right? Same machine, same scan, same everything. And so her mindset completely shifted because while she hasn't lost the weight that she wanted, she understands that what we're doing is working.
Wow. So those
reviews are huge.
That's a huge retention thing, right? Because if she didn't know
100%.
that progress was happening, she might leave because she doesn't see it happening, right? So you have a huge retention tool in these 90-day goal review sessions. They're proven through Two Brain data to increase retention at gyms. Two Brain clients' average retention numbers are more than double that of the average gym owner. Our State of the Industry 2022 study showed that. So we've got a retention tool. Now you showcase, you can put this client on a podium, right? So this client is now happy about this progress. You have an opportunity to say, hey, can I just pull out my phone and, film a video of you talking about, I want to show you off. And this person is often going to be very excited to do that, right? Now you've got a marketing asset that you can put up and show to prospective clients who have the same goals and say, that person is just like me. I want to accomplish that. Another thing you can do with a happy client, ask for referral. Two Brain has a whole template for that, and that's a perfect time to do it. If the person isn't getting the progress they want, that is a perfect time to say, okay, let's take a look at some ways to speed this up and make it better. And you can adjust the prescription. Let's say your personal training plan, like, I want to make some adjustments to this. That's trust, that builds trust in the relationship. The other thing that you can do is you add something to the program. So I had many clients who just did fitness with me, wanted to lose weight, didn't lose weight. What's missing? Obviously nutrition. Add in a nutrition plan. What happens then at the next 90-day meeting? They're making progress. Now, that's an upsell for the gym. It's a huge increase in average revenue per member, but it also gets the client's results and gets the client's results faster. That is an increase in value. Speed, increased speed of results is worth money to clients, right? And we 100%. Often see, 30%, about 30% of clients in goal review sessions will upgrade their prescriptions, and it will result in about a 30% increase in average revenue per member. Those are stats that Two Brain has collected from our clients. Kyle, have you seen that kind of thing happening in your gym?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, again, like, you use those goal review sessions as you sit down with somebody, you may also find out that you're going to have clients that will get into the personal training, but they know it's a stretch for their budget, right? Group classes aren't going to get it done. Now we need to add the nutrition program, but they really can't afford that extra $100 a month or whatever it is you're going to charge for it. But guess what? You want a referral and that extra $100? Super simple. Hey, do you have a friend that's like you? What if you brought that friend in and I lowered the cost for both of you? You worked out together. Maybe I'll keep your cost the same and I'll give you the nutrition for free. Now I just picked up another client it's a slight discount off the $70, but even if it's $50, I just picked up another $600 a month. Cool. I'm good with that.
And
Right.
all
So
because you're having a
they give
conversation.
you 100%. And because they give you the tools and they don't just give you the tools, they give you the tools in a practical form. Like, I think that's the biggest difference, right? There's one thing, just like, you know what, you can go on YouTube, you can go on Instagram, you can find people that give you all kinds of information. And a lot of it's really good when it comes to fitness. But if it doesn't work for you, or you're not right there with them, they can't help you. So like, if it's not practically useful to them, right? Like, this stuff is useful. It's easy for you to follow. The hardest part for me is not going to be the hardest part for one of you guys as a gym owner. The sales part isn't the hard part for me. The hard part for me is doing all the reviews and stuff. I have a system. I didn't have any paid employees before this, and now I have an employee that makes almost 40,000 a year that we've been able to build into. And you know what? I like doing the reviews. I don't like remembering when it's time to do the reviews. So I just tell Cullen, you tell me when it's time to do them. I'll do them. And then you be in charge of telling me when. And if I don't do what I'm supposed to, I give him a bonus. That way it makes me accountable to, and I get it. Like, we all are going to have those things in your business that you're not great at. Cool. Have somebody help you. Hire somebody to do it. So I don't know. To me, like, Two Brain's so good at just making things easily understandable and followable for anybody who wants to try it.
So is the prescriptive model difficult to implement?
No.
Are there any obstacles that slowed you down, and how'd you solve them? Anything important?
Honestly, the obstacles are just your own mentality. Like, we all have an idea of what this was supposed to look like, or what the job was supposed to be. And when you start really get into the minutia of, hey, these are the things that you have to do to make sure that your gym is running the way you want. There are certain things you're just going to have to do that you didn't want to do, or you didn't know you were going to have to do before. So if you can just get out of your own mindset and say, hey, listen, instead of trying to tell you what I'm going to do, I'm just going to listen. I mean, literally, like, Jeff will tell you, I'm a very smart guy. I'm very good with people. But when it came to this stuff, I have tried it my way and it hasn't worked. I have not made enough money, and I was ready to walk away. I literally was like, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, do I ride this thing out until my youngest graduates high school in 2 years? And then I'll just move on, let it go, and go back to work and do something else. Until I found Jeff at that meeting and called him and started doing this. And I'm like, okay, now my business is great. Why would I walk away from it now?
Would it be a mistake to say that the prescriptive model is just a gym changing, life changing thing for a gym owner?
No, it really will be. I mean, truly, like, my oldest graduates from college on Saturday, and I leave tomorrow morning at 10:45 to fly to New York for his graduation. I've got 4 clients tomorrow morning. I've got 3 clients tomorrow afternoon. I've got 3 more clients Thursday afternoon, and I've got 4 more clients Friday morning and 2 more clients Friday afternoon, along with all of my group classes. I don't have anything to worry about. I'm leaving and it'll be fine. It runs without me. I mean, obviously it's better when I'm here, but I don't have to be here for this place to go. And it
So
wasn't
what would you
like that
say?
before.
Oh, it's so great to hear, because that gives you the freedom to do things with your family, which is what an entrepreneur
It's
should
the
be.
whole reason we got into this, right? Like, I know
Exactly.
we like the fitness world, but we want to make enough money to do what we want.
And you would have been out of the industry if not for this. So
Yeah.
that, I
Oh,
mean, that's
100%.
a great coach that would
100%.
not be there running a gym and helping clients in a small
Yep.
town that obviously needs you. So let me ask you this as we close this out. Gym owners out there are listening and they're maybe skeptical about this. What would you say to them about the prescriptive model to help them understand why it's important?
Just give it a shot. I mean, the biggest reason that we were not successful in the past is we did not know what the client wanted. If you don't know what the client wants, you cannot give that to them. If you can't give the client what they want, no matter how much they like you, no matter how much they like the environment you bring, no matter how much they like the people at your gym, eventually they will walk away. I guess it's kind of the same thing when it comes to workouts. If you're a coach out there and you design a workout and your client comes in and says, yeah, but I want to do it. I don't want to start with that movement. I want to start with that movement. And I can tell you how I would feel about that. And I'm sure all of the coaches out there would say the same thing. No. There's a method to the madness. There's a method to why we're doing it in this order. Just like with the prescriptive model, it's so simple to go, listen, this has been done by thousands of gym owners now, and it works. I've got friends that I knew that owned gyms about an hour from St. Louis. They've owned gyms in St. Louis since I've been around CrossFit. I knew them when I was doing the Open 12 years ago. That's how old I am and how long I've been doing this, and they're doing this too. They're using the two brain model as well. And these are guys that they were successful before, and now they're just more successful. It's like anybody that I've talked to that gets on this road finds a way to make more money than they thought they could.
So listeners, if you're out there, I would encourage you, click the link in the show notes and you can read all about the prescriptive model if you are a visual, or if you would prefer to read it rather than listen to it. But that is Kyle's story, and it's not unique. That story with the prescriptive model has been repeated by many, many Two Brain clients. If you want to go further, book a call with us. That link is also in the show notes, and you can talk to someone about how this model will help your business and all the other assets that Two Brain has for clients. Kyle, it helped you, I guess, 5x revenue. We said doubled, but it sounds like 5x.
100%.
Yeah.
We're still growing. We're still growing. Like, we have had 2 months since I started that we haven't grown. And they were like 1%. We didn't grow. Okay. Yeah. It's fine.
So you got to figure it out now. Kyle, thanks so much for being here and sharing your story, and have a safe flight tomorrow.
Thank you.
That was Kyle Counts. This is Run a Profitable Gym, where the world's best gym owners tell you exactly what they're doing so you can have the same success that they are. Please subscribe for more episodes on your way out. If you're on YouTube, I would love it if you hit the like button and even left a comment. That would be great.